King Alric paced the torchlit halls of Medford Castle, his golden crown weighing heavily upon his young brow. The news from the border towns grew worse with each passing day. Imperial forces had begun their slow march northward, and the whispers of treachery within his own court grew louder. His sister, Princess Arista, burst into the war room, her face flushed with urgency. "The Merchants' Guild has turned against us," she announced, her voice trembling. "They're refusing to supply our armies." The siblings exchanged knowing glances. This was no mere coincidence. As the candlelight flickered across ancient tapestries, they discovered a hidden message woven into a seemingly innocent trade document. Someone within their inner circle was feeding information to the Empire. Arista found herself drawn to the castle's forbidden library, where ancient tomes of magic gathered dust in forgotten corners. Her fingers traced mysterious symbols as she searched for anything that might give Melengar an advantage. The discovery she made that night changed everything. A centuries-old defensive spell, supposedly capable of shielding an entire kingdom. But the price was steep, requiring a sacrifice she wasn't sure she could make. As she delved deeper into the forbidden knowledge, strange lights began dancing through the stacks, and whispers of long-dead wizards echoed in her mind. The magic was awakening, but so too were forces that had lain dormant for generations. The trap was sprung during the Midnight Council. As Alric and Arista presented their plans for defending the realm, the chamber doors slammed shut. Count Drummond, their father's most trusted advisor, revealed his true colors, drawing a poisoned blade. The siblings found themselves surrounded by turncoats, the bitter fruit of imperial gold. But Arista had prepared for this moment. The ancient spell she'd discovered surged through her veins, its power threatening to consume her even as it offered salvation. As magic crackled through the chamber, the very foundations of Medford Castle began to tremble. In that moment of chaos, as friend turned against friend and magic clashed with steel, a terrible choice loomed before them: save the kingdom or save each other. The last thing Alric saw was his sister's eyes blazing with ethereal fire as the chamber erupted in blinding light. In the dimly lit taverns of Cornora, whispers of rebellion spread like wildfire. Mira Thorne, a charismatic merchant's daughter with a secret connection to the old nobility, found herself at the center of a growing storm. The common folk, tired of imperial taxation, gathered in shadowy corners, sharing tales of ancient times when each kingdom stood proud and free. As Mira moved through the crowded streets, she noticed imperial guards growing increasingly nervous, their hands never far from their sword hilts. The air itself seemed charged with anticipation. During one clandestine meeting in the back room of the Broken Barrel, she encountered Marcus Blackwood, a mysterious figure claiming to represent a coalition of resistance leaders. His words painted a vision of freedom that resonated deeply, but something in his eyes made Mira question his true motives. What began as quiet dissent erupted into open defiance. The marketplace of Aquesta became a battleground when imperial tax collectors attempted to seize goods from local merchants. Mira watched in horror as the situation spiraled out of control. Captain Elena Dawnbringer, torn between duty and conscience, made a choice that would echo through history. She ordered her guards to stand down. The crowd's jubilation turned to chaos as provocateurs, whom Mira recognized as Blackwood's men, began inciting violence. The flames of rebellion caught quickly, spreading to neighboring districts. In the ensuing chaos, Mira discovered a hidden message suggesting that the entire uprising might be an elaborate plot, orchestrated by forces far more sinister than she had imagined. As the rebellion gained momentum, Mira's investigation led her to a startling discovery in the city's ancient archives. Hidden among dusty scrolls, she found evidence that Marcus Blackwood was not who he claimed to be. The true puppet masters were playing a far more dangerous game. Elena, now branded a traitor by the Empire, joined forces with Mira to uncover the truth. Together, they traced a web of deception leading to the highest echelons of power. But before they could expose the conspiracy, Blackwood revealed his true identity. He was working for someone within the Imperial Palace itself. As Mira and Elena prepared to confront him, the ground beneath their feet began to tremble, and the ancient wards protecting the city's walls started to glow with an ominous light. The true battle was about to begin, and nothing was what it seemed. In the depths of the ancient library, Arista's fingers trembled as she traced the dusty spines of forgotten tomes. The flickering candlelight cast dancing shadows on weathered parchments as Esrahaddon's spectral form guided her through the maze of knowledge. "There are truths," he whispered, his ethereal voice echoing off stone walls, "that have been buried for 1,000 years. The princess felt a chill run down her spine as she pulled a leather-bound volume from the highest shelf. Its pages sealed with magic she could feel pulsing beneath her fingertips. As the seal broke, a surge of ancient power filled the chamber, and the candles flickered violently. The first page revealed a map unlike any she'd seen before, showing an empire that predated everything she knew about history. Hadrian stood transfixed as Esrahaddon's projection revealed the truth about the heir of Novron. The warrior's sword hung loose in his grip as the ancient wizard's words shattered everything he thought he knew about the church's teachings. The chamber's air grew thick with tension as each revelation built upon the last, painting a picture of betrayal spanning centuries. Royce, usually skeptical, found himself unable to dispute the evidence before them. The thief's keen eyes noticed patterns in the ancient texts that confirmed their worst fears. When Esrahaddon spoke of the true purpose of the towers, even Magnus, the stoic dwarf, paled visibly. The truth about the elves' disappearance left them all in stunned silence. As the final revelation echoed through the chamber, Arista felt the weight of responsibility crushed down upon her shoulders. The ancient magic surged unexpectedly, causing the very foundations of the archive to tremble. Esrahaddon's form began to flicker as the protective wards started to fail. "The knowledge comes with a price," he warned, his voice growing fainter. "They're coming." The ground shook more violently as Roy spotted movement in the shadows. Hadrian raised his sword as multiple dark figures emerged from hidden passages. The last thing Arista saw before the chamber plunged into darkness was Esrahaddon's form dissolving into countless sparks of light, and his final words hung in the air. "Remember, the towers must never be united." In the candle-lit chambers of the Imperial Palace, Regent Sulder studied the ancient maps spread across his mahogany desk, his wrinkled fingers tracing the borders of territories yet unconquered. The warm glow of the fireplace cast dancing shadows on the walls, while the sweet scent of burning pine filled the air. His trusted advisor, Marcus, entered with urgent news of unrest in the outer provinces. "The people grow restless, my lord," Marcus whispered, his voice barely audible above the crackling flames. Salder's thin lips curved into a knowing smile. "Then perhaps it's time we gave them something to truly fear." He revealed an ornate box containing a mysterious artifact, its surface gleaming with ancient runes that seemed to pulse with an inner light. The secret meeting in the Temple of Novron drew the Empire's most influential figures. Lady Helena's emerald dress caught the light of enchanted crystals as she navigated the political battlefield with practiced grace. Archbishop Gallian spoke of divine right and destiny, his words weaving a spell over the assembled nobles. But in the shadows, young acolyte Thomas noticed something amiss. The ancient ceremonial chalice had changed color, turning from gold to obsidian. When he tried to warn Helena, a sudden gust of wind extinguished every light in the temple, leaving only the chalice's ominous glow. Commander Xavier led his troops through the mountain pass, their armor gleaming in the setting sun. The Imperial banner snapped in the wind as they approached the rebel stronghold of Kellythorn. But something was wrong. The fortress stood silent, no defenders visible on its walls. Inside, they found only empty halls and cold hearths. In the central courtyard, Xavier discovered a single piece of parchment nailed to a post. As he read the message, his face paled. Behind him, the great gates groaned shut, and from the shadows emerged figures wearing masks of silver, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. The last thing Xavier heard was the whisper of steel being drawn from countless scabbards.
Thank you for venturing into this realm with me. If you crave more enchanted worlds, mythical battles, and secrets whispered from ancient pages, join the Guild of Storybound Explorers. Subscribe now and ring the bell to unlock every new quest the moment it drops. The next chapter awaits. Will you answer the call?